welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Girls Talk Rock.
Oh my gosh, so
I am
innocent.
Tracy Smith.
And I'm Beth Venus.
And we are Girls Talk Rock. What we're going to do is we're going to start this show a little bit differently because we have a guest that we want to introduce, but we want to introduce him properly. So we're going to start out with a little bit of music, and we're going to tell you exactly what he's doing directly after you hear what the music. So we'll be back in 1 second to introduce him.
To my soul, you unchained my heart just to tear it apart. And there was a time when I could not see. I was played like a fool. It was a sin to be me. And all of my dreams.
If you really like what you just heard, we are now going to introduce our guest because it even sounds a little bit like Steve Miller Bandish, and that's exactly who he used to play with. So we're going to introduce our guest right now.
Introduce.
His name is Greg Douglas. Welcome, Greg Douglas.
Howdy, Girls Talk Radio. How you guys doing?
And the name of that song, from what I understand, is Scream, right? The title of the new single?
Yeah, that is one of many songs on my new CD, which is called "The Flight of the Golden Dragon."
Right.
Which I did with a gentleman named Michael Muldoon, and we put that together over the course of a year, and it's doing very, very well. I'm happy to say. That's
awesome. We are so happy to have you here today. Let's get right into talking about. Basically, I want to know your history because the first question out of my mouth, if I know a guy plays with Steve Miller Band and a bunch of huge stars in the past, what I want to know is what exactly did you contribute? I know you're the guitar player and singer, but what did you contribute as far as contribution to any of the huge songs we know and were played on the radio every day, like Fly Like an Eagle and all those?
Well, I came in right after the Fly Like an Eagle album, and they had already completed most of Book of Dreams. And I became friends with Steve's bass player, a guy named Lonnie Turner, and I had a guitar riff sitting around that had just needed a home. He had some words that he had written for Dave Mason that didn't pass muster with Dave, and it ended up being the song Jungle Love.
Awesome.
So that got me into the studio with Steve, and that started off 4 very busy, exciting years of my life.
Very cool.
And 5 platinum albums with sales of over 12 million units.
No doubt.
So,
that's right. And I'm now a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, class of 2016. Thank you, Steve.
Awesome. Oh, my God, that's so amazing.
So it's kind of a great time, you know, and we were just kind of like getting to connect with you right before we went on air. I'm from Carlsbad. You're down in Carlsbad, fixing to play right now, aren't you?
Totally.
Yeah.
So
I'm down at the Coyote Bar in Carlsbad. I'm sitting with some good friends of mine, Darren Greatly. They're a band from Canada. And great guys, and their guitar player's out of commission for a couple months, and I'll be sitting in with the band.
Well, that's awesome that you can sit in.
Well, it looks like, you're playing, influences are pretty broad. And I know looking at your bio, and anybody can do that by going to gregdouglasguitar.com. But just talking to you about it, you've played with Dick Dale, Jeff Beck, the Beatles, all kinds of wide range of music. What do you think was your hardest influence, though, the thing that really affected your artistic play now of who you are as a musician now the most?
Well, actually, there's two things. The thing that got me started was my dad he had a talk with me, and it wasn't that talk. It was the talk about the fact that I was
a different jungle love.
A different kind of jungle, and an entirely different jungle. He said, I was kind of a dweeb. I was kind of a nerd in high school. And he said, you spend all your time drawing in your room and reading comic books. He says, you need to do something, learn a musical instrument. So
nice.
He said, I'll buy it for you. I'll pay for lessons. So I, agonized in trumpet, trombone. I heard Dick Dale playing miserably one day. And I said, you know what? That's what I want to do when I grow up.
Awesome.
And I bought a guitar. The other thing that really set the hook was I went to see a group called the Yardbirds. And at the time,
just a little
they
group
had,
called the Yardbirds.
Right.
Yeah, well, they had Jeff Beck and Jimmy Page on guitar at the time.
Wow.
And I saw them, and I was just floored. That was it. I was going to study to be a psychologist at UC Berkeley, and seeing those two play guitar together just, that was it. It was over.
Well, why don't you give us your best story from the road, or whatever you want to tell us about that you can actually say
you can
live
be
on
naughty.
air.
No, you can be naughty.
You can be naughty because we are at
show. Come on.
No. This is a Girls Talk Rock show.
No, you've got to be
I'm
naughty. So
happen to be a nasty girl,
give us your
so
best
I
tour
think that'll
story.
work out just fine.
The best story from the road. Well, there are a ton of them. Okay, but this is a relatively clean one. We were with the Steve Miller Band, and it wasn't a terribly hard partying band, but that came later. I was with the Greg Kihn Band. Then things got crazy with them. But with Steve, we had a new roadie who just come in the band. Nice kid, very young. So we got him blind drunk one night, and we were at a hotel. And we said, hey, man, everybody that comes into the band has to do something. And he said, what's that, man? He said, well, you have to go down to the lobby of the hotel and streak it. You have to take off all your clothes and run around the lobby.
That is a clean story.
So, it was 3 a.m.
Nice.
So, what could go wrong? So we went down there, and he took off all his clothes, and he said, this is so cool, man. I'm the roadie for the Steve Miller Band. We're going, yeah, man, this is great, isn't it?
You're the bomb.
So he runs out. There's a little tiny guy, stark naked, starts running around this beautiful, elegant hotel lobby. And just then, a party of people in tuxedos came in the front door. And there's this little dwarf running around the hotel, stark naked. He bolts back for the elevator, and we hit the door close button and waved at him.
That's
awesome.
Pretty awesome. I mean, that's
a good one.
That he knew.
Yeah. Well, after that, he was officially part of the band. And
awesome.
No, we did not make everybody run naked around the hotel lobby. It just seemed like a good idea.
And the rest of the story is we fired him 1 week later. No, I'm kidding.
No.
Well,
actually, he owns his own computer company now, so he showed us.
He showed right. I mean, you mentioned that you were going to study and be a psychologist, and that I had to click right onto that right away because, to me, music and the fellowship is like being in therapy constantly.
Anyway,
if you're in music, what kind of correlation? What was the draw? Do you think the common denominator between being a working musician and being a psych major at Berkeley?
Well, you know what? If I wanted to find a business that had a lot of crazy people, I couldn't have done any better than this.
Totally.
And I mean, totally textbook crazy people. So I have used every skill I would have used as a psychologist in getting work and maintaining work. And I actually, on a more serious note, I had some substance abuse problems over the years, and I went up and I took care of them at a place in Orange County, and I became a counselor there, working with musicians. So
Nice.
I actually got to use the skills that I didn't study for and help people find their gifts who had been troubled with addiction and other issues, and it was a gift to be able to do that.
Well, that's very cool that you help other people out. But give us some advice, because most of our listeners are musicians, and why don't you let them know over your storied career and history. What would you give them? What's the one piece of advice you would give them to try and get ahead in this business? Because it is so cutthroat and there's so many bands and musicians out there.
Yeah. Well, the first thing is do your homework. No matter what the situation, make sure you're absolutely prepared, because I guarantee there are 50 other guys who are waiting to take over your place. Second thing is, stay away from drugs. I mean, just absolutely. That's the quickest way to derail your entire life and your career.
And that's exactly what Billy Sheehan had to say too at his clinic the other night at Pitbull Audio. But sorry, continue.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what. I'm. It's a miracle I'm talking to you.
Right on.
Well, I want to remind our guests that we are talking to Greg Douglas, and Greg is joining us from the Coyote, getting ready in Carlsbad, California, getting ready to play an event there, and that you are just such an influence on so many other musicians with your time with Van Morrison, Hot Tuna, Terry and the Pirates.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that with the Van Morrison
Steve
thing.
Miller Band. And I also want to see if we can, since our time is limited, talk about your co-writing with some of these bands, songs like Jungle Love, where you're co-writing. Tell us about the writing process with the Steve Miller Band.
Well, now, first of all, with the band, that was a different situation. I was working for one of the greatest songwriters in the world, and I actually gave band guitar lessons at one point. And I think all I did was confuse him. I told him that you're doing fine with the 5 chords, I'm just going to confuse the issue. With Steve, Jungle Love was the one big hit I had, but I also did a lot of co-writing with Lonnie Turner, his bass player, and Gary Malaberg, his drummer. And we would sit in the garage in Los Angeles and just throw ideas back and forth, and many of those showed up on the Abracadabra album.
Awesome.
And I'm always looking for great co-writers. I've been gifted with so many in my life, and they're rare and precious. Michael Muldoon, the guy I worked with on my new CD, is an example. He's a gift. He's, what a lyricist.
To make that difference. Now, do you like working directly in a studio from ground zero with someone, or do you bring a lot to the table and then just try to iron it out and create the seams and create the intro and outro? What's your process like with the other co-writers?
I'm not a great lyricist. What I will do is, if you come to me with a song idea or a set of words, I will make the song easier to listen to. I'm great at coming up with guitar lines that are memorable and set off whatever tune you bring. It's like the lyrics are a jewel. I provide the setting.
Nice.
So,
everybody's got a process. That's why I'm kind of curious. If anybody, after they hear this, they might be stalking you on GregDouglasGuitar.com and send you a note.
We're coming in to see you tonight while you're playing at the Coyote, right?
Yeah,
playing at the Coyote, and then Friday I play with my own band at the place called Landings in Carlsbad. That's the Greg Douglas Band.
Yeah, it looks like you played with Hector. Is he your drummer?
Hector Tor, you know my boy. Yeah.
I do. I just actually went to Crossed with his wife, so we had a great time being the only people over 35.
Such a small musical world.
It is a small world. He's a great guy. That guy's like a metronome, man. He can
we
play.
only have about 3 minutes
song
left of this next segment, but I wanted to get into with you like some of the stuff you've done with Van Morrison. I mean that's got to be like so awesome to work with somebody like that.
Oh my God! I was so starstruck that I decided to go the opposite way. I went up and I told him a horrible, horrible joke, which I can't repeat on the air. That I made up, and it involved him and Sly Stone, and he looked at me like I was a mental patient. Awesome. And he called me that night in the room and said, "Hey, let's go get something to eat." And the rest of the band was like, wow. The band never asked anybody to go eat. And we actually became really good friends because I treated him like a regular guy.
Well, and it looks like you did Gloria, Brown Eyed Girl, Wild Nights, Domino, and a bunch of other songs with them. So that's amazing.
I didn't record those, but I certainly played them live.
Right.
Many times.
That's cool.
So it's different when you play the song with the guy who wrote it.
Hey, which brings us to another part of your playing now. You are a touring musician. You're working obviously regionally right here in North San Diego right now today. When you take on a piece, are you having more fun playing the arrangement that was done for the recording and the produced version, or do you really try to bring the live version that you did, the arrangements you did as a live band on tour? What gets you more excited?
We always take songs, and they're recognizable, and we use the main hooks, but we put them together in really entertaining and surprising ways, and that's what keeps our band working, and it sets us apart from all the other classic rock bands in Southern California. I honestly think we're the best. Of course, I'm prejudiced.
Not at all.
Very cool.
But, I like what you're saying about that, because I think I agree with you. I think live arrangements are just essential to live play, not always just pulling out a record or
Well,
CD
you want to give the
version.
crowd what they want is the live, with energy and feeling.
Hey, we're just coming across our first segment, and I know you can't stay with us too much longer. We have a 3-minute commercial coming up.
2-minute break.
2-minute break. Only 2 minutes. We're going to ask Mr. Greg Douglas to hold on for 2 minutes, and we're going to keep him for a whole 5 more after we come back.
Yeah, because what we would like to do is introduce your other song to the public, your other original song. So we'd like to do that if we can.
So hang out with us just a little bit. I'm Beth Venus. This is Tracy at Girls Talk Rock. We want to have a few thank yous before we close out this segment. And that, of course, one goes strongly out to Silver Tiger Production.
Yep.
Just a great production and talent buying agency run by the CEO, Rodney Elliott. He's just a gem of a guy to work with and for.
Yes.
And we just have to give a shout out if there's talent out there and you're wondering why you are not on his radar, you better send him your press kit, because that's a company you want to work closely with. Tracy.
Yes.
We'll see you in 2 minutes, girl.
We will be back in 2 minutes. Thank you so much to Enter Talk Radio for having Girls Talk Rock on. And we are going to be back in 2 minutes, so just hang out with us, and we'll be talking to Greg Douglas in 2 minutes.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
And Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock, right here on the Enter Talk Radio Network.
every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
SDP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all at
It's all that!
SilverTigerProduction.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
Listening to Girls Talk right here on the Intertalk Radio Network. And we've got to say that our guest today is Greg Douglas. We're going to talk to him briefly, and then he's going to have to go because he's doing a live gig tonight at the Coyote. So go ahead, Greg. Tell us a little bit about that song and what it's called.
That song is a cover of a song by one of my favorite San Francisco bands called the Flamin' Groovies. And I've always wanted to cover it. I did. I think we did it justice. And the singer's name is Gregory Douglas.
Awesome.
And it's not me. He's a 35-year-old guy. He's one of the leading lights of the gay singer-songwriter movement. We started getting each other's fan mail, and I said we should record, and that was the result.
What a great story
cool.
that is.
That is a great story.
I'm totally digging on that. And it wouldn't be great to see you guys on a Pride stage one of these years together.
We're trying.
What good fun that would be.
Well, go ahead before we run out of time with you. Give us your links to where we can find you and your music.
Okay. It's www.gregdouglasguitar.com.
Which is a great site we've had up the whole time we've been talking. And to remind everybody, we're talking directly to Greg Douglas. He is a master musician and somebody really wonderful that we have regionally here in San Diego County. Just a blessing to have you as one of our neighbors here. You've played with Van Morrison, Hot Tuna, the Steve Miller Band. You've written and played Peter Rowan, the Greg Kihn Band, Tom Johnson, Eddie Money, Tom Fogerty. Everybody listening, I want you to know that there are some of the best players in the world decide to stay home here in San Diego, California. If you want to check out Greg Douglas tonight and you're listening here on October 26th, live on our show tonight, it's not too late for you to hop in your car, have a wonderful Wednesday night date, and go see Mr. Douglas, Greg Douglas, playing this evening.
Come on down.
Right there in beautiful, sunny, gorgeous coastal Carlsbad there in the Village at the Coyote Grill.
And I know you have to go, Greg, but what's the last thing you want to leave us with? Give us the last piece of advice or whatever you want to say.
Well, two things. Number one, I would love to come in to the station and continue this conversation anytime.
Absolutely.
I've really enjoyed this a great deal. And my other piece of advice is go to the website, give me some work,
Absolutely.
Hire us for your holiday party.
Wonderful. And maybe we can meet your lovely wife as well when you come back in with us.
That would be fabulous.
We would love that.
Gem.
Hey, any gentleman who represents on his significant other, we love that beautifully.
We love it. We're all about girls and talking rock.
Can't wait to see you play live. Again, listeners, get your buns over there. And good evening to you, Mr. Douglas. I cannot wait to see you in person.
And we're going to come out to a live show.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I live that way.
The feeling is mutual, girls. Thank you so much.
Have a peaceful one. You have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And listeners, you just got off listening to Greg Douglas from so many great events. He lives right in Escondido, California.
See, he's another one of those amazing artists that are local in San Diego. And that's what we're going to transition to next. Knowing that we have the most professional musicians living in this town that have played with the biggest stars on the biggest tours around the world. We're going to talk about that as well going into this next part of this segment.
It's pretty amazeballs when you think about it.
Totally.
We are, if we don't have guests who live here, we have a lot of guests who have a home here. They just want to have a home
and
here.
or come in for tours because they used to live here or they grew up here or whatever.
So that breaks us into listeners. I know you're wondering, how can you make this serve you well? Take a good listen, because the second portion of our show tonight is all about these great musicians, what you have in common with them, and what you can do to make sure that you're running your music. Don't send me any evil notes like a business. So we're going to kind of get into the business side of things and who's playing where and what's going on. So let's look at this as if it's two branches. Shall we, class?
We shall.
We're going to take on the Tracy branch first, and that would be the regional and then branching out into the national, but local, independent, original artists, whether you're a guitarist with a vocalist or trio or a duo, I don't know, whatever the heck you're doing, trying to make your own sound. What is the lowdown with that? Tracy, give us the tutorial 101.
I'll tell you what. So Beth and I are both agents, and we work with and for Silver Tiger Production, which is Rodney Elliott, as everybody knows. He has got 30 years in the biz. We both combined have...
I'm not dating myself.
40 years in the biz, whatever. And so to combine, we have about 70 years in the biz. And we pretty much know what we're doing at this point, don't we, Beth?
I don't know. Sometimes I know everything I don't know. That's for sure.
Well, when I don't know something, they tell me. You don't know that.
But you're Tracy, for those of you who are getting to know, because we always are interviewing everybody else. And just to give everybody a little insight, so Tracy's End of the World, and it's so exciting to me because I'm just like devoid on this, is our original solo. You're someone going down and doing the open mic, someone going down and trying to get that 1 hour gig or that 2 hour gig, maybe a lounge show. Maybe you want to be performing and having your original music before a national act. Anything that has to do with original artists tends to kind of bend towards Tracy in my working relationship, at least. And even if I'm working with artists who are that way, I always kind of consult with her to see what her feeling is. So when someone's coming out and they're like, I'm the shabam.
Yeah. And everyone I work with, by the way, is a shabam. Because I only work with professionals, so you have to know that first.
Well,
if
how do we make them be professional?
Well,
What's the deal?
Well, here's the deal. If I'm going to send you out to a show, booking through Silver Tiger or anywhere else that we deal with, I've got to make sure that, one, I have an EPK. If you don't have an EPK, you're shooting yourself in the foot right there. That's rule number one. I have
the right sound for that.
Well, that's what it's going to sound like when the money doesn't hit your pocket. And the people, more importantly, do not hear your original sound. So the second thing that you need to think about when we're booking you is you've got to get in the queue. So if I call you up and I say, I've got this gig going on, or Rodney or Beth calls you up, we got this gig going on, we want you to get out there. It doesn't pay a whole lot at first, but you're going to get on the radar of the right people, which is normally the owner or somebody else that we're dealing with and booking with and for locally. Then you might have to take a gig like that to begin with, just because once the owner sees you, he's not only going to pay you more. All right, he or she. They're not only going to pay you more, but they're also you're going to be on their radar and our radar from then on. So we're going to send you out to those gigs. And
I'm going to be the devil advocate. Can I be the devil advocate really quick?
Go ahead.
I'm going to say, man, they always say that to me. I don't want to, I'm valuable. I'm amazeballs. And I don't want to play for $50. And why do you do me like that, Tracy? Why you do me like that?
Well, I'll tell you why I do you like that. Because when I personally put my name on you and I send you out there, you better be the most professional that you can be. So in other words, like what Greg Douglas just said, you have to be ready for anything. My motto in life is get ready to rumble, because you never know what is next. And if you don't know what's next, you're not going to be prepared. And if you're not prepared, you're not going to get the gig. And if you don't get the gig, you're not going to get in the queue. And if you don't get in the queue, nobody hears you. Nobody cares. You got to do it, people.
Got to get on radar, man.
Radar.
But the original artists have a unique...
a harder time.
It's a unique struggle.
Right.
Because they're looking to play, what, an hour? 45? What is like the standard they need to have ready to go?
Well, right now we're dealing with 90-minute to 2 hour to 2.5 hour to 3 hour gigs.
All original music.
Not all original.
Well, I'm talking original right now.
All right. Well, okay. So if you're doing an original gig, you're talking about 90 minutes because you're going to do it with another band, normally 2 bands, sometimes 3 bands. So you might get an hour. But you have to be prepared to go longer because if one band doesn't show up or they cancel, you're going to get the opportunity to play for another half an hour or another 45 minutes. So you better at least have, I would say, a good 2 hours worth of music before you start to play out in town. Now, if you're original band and you are doing gigs for free, that is wrong. It kills everything. It kills the whole business. I'll tell you why. Say you work really super hard, you are very professional, and they ask you to play for free. Now, that's wrong because every band that comes after you, they're going to expect to get bands for free. And if you do that, it's going to really bring down the value of your work and your hard work, and your band is going to get nothing for showing up. And so that just kind of ruins the whole thing. So if everybody would stop playing 3 times a week or whatever for no money, then maybe we could turn this thing around in San Diego where the club owners would have to start paying.
Well, and it's interesting to me, too, because, and we've had this discussion offsite so many times over drinks. And, of course, I want your insight. We both want your insight. If you guys have anything to say about this part of the conversation, we just really welcome you to send us a message on our Facebook. You can go to Girls Talk Rock. Of course, it's with the RLZ, Girls
GURLZ Talk is Rock is RAWK, in case you don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, Girls Talk Rock. Make sure you give us your insight on this, because I look so much at the independent bands in such a different way than I do what I call the working cover and tribute bands and the roundabout that way. Ideally, with your original bands, what are we going to do with them? What's the best place for, my question is, do you have a goal? Like, what's the be all to end all? What's your best case scenario between now and 6 months from now?
Well, I mean, one thing I do have to say is that
do they have an answer for you?
Silver Tiger and Rodney are dealing with about 4 different venues in town. And let me just briefly say that Rodney Elliott works for Sheldon's. It is the newest, freshest hot spot. And every original artist, singer-songwriter, is clamoring to get in over there. And they're beating me and Rodney up to get them on the schedule and to be on the queue. I just want to tell you that every single person we send out is, like I said, the top professional that can do a 3-hour set, because that's what we're asking for right now, 2.5 to 3 hours. And Sheldon's is doing it right. So they've got a singer-songwriter on the patio, right? And they are they are packed out, I should say, from morning to night. Right now they're open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., but they're going to start going until 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night. And it's kind of a little coffee shop that's got this beautiful food.
It's set
drinks,
up really cool down there. Downtown
And I got to say that we're the way we got you set up on the patio, if you're an original artist, is we've got your back to the street, which people are walking by and can hear you, but we've also got your front to the audience, which is a beautiful little setup of tables on the patio. So look, I just want to tell you guys what you're looking at, because there are other gigs that are going to come from that gig. When you show up and you play that gig, we're not only building a fan base, and we're trying to bring back the feel of the Jewel/Jason Mraz feel from back in the day with the singer-songwriters that are in town right now. But let me just tell you briefly some of the people we've got rolling out there, because you're going to be amazed when you hear who you can go see. And if you're not on my radar and Rodney's radar and Beth's radar yet, you need to be, because this is what's so important about what we're trying to build right now. Bring this local acoustic singer-songwriter scene back to San Diego. That's what we want to be known for. So let me just tell you a couple people. Basically, November 5th, 6th, so we book every weekend. Catherine Cloward is showing up. Ezekiel J, Easy J, is coming out there. And Doug Allen is going to be there on November 5th. Now, we have 3 different shifts. 8 a.m.
Doug Allen's from the Martells.
Yes, 8 a.m.
So he's doing his duo, or was he Doug
Right,
Allen
he's doing a single thing. So 8 a.m., Catherine Cloward, 11:30 to 2:30, Ezekiel, and from 4:30 to 7:30, we got Doug Allen. Now, the following weekend, we have Justin Werner's coming in. We have Francesca Valli. Everybody that knows them knows what professionals they are. We're talking like, okay, and another one, Lisa Campbell. She's 8 a.m., so don't forget Lisa Campbell.
God bless her. 8 a.m. going in there to sing
8
and play.
a.m. All right, so the following week, the 12th, we have Khalil Nash, who is a 16-year-old, maybe 17 by now, but he is the next Jason Mraz. If you haven't heard him yet, he had the crowd singing the whole time, every single song. He does the most popular music right now, and people were singing along with him and having a great time. Samuel Hornito from a band called Winterhawk, super, super amazing player, just top-of-the-line player. And also, we have Lizzie Waters, who is a 16-year-old that I discovered at an open mic at the Aztec Brewery when we rolled out there for my husband's band, Exit 6. So let me just go on. Christine Gilardi, if we had to mention one professional, she is one of the most professional musicians that I know, and she was my first call. Heather Nation. Heather, we love you. Heather Nation. Oh my gosh, she's the bomb, and she's also playing this Friday night at Campland as an open mic singer-songwriter / whatever. So you got to get out there for that as well. Also on the 13th, Mike Ruggiello, local guy. Usually a heavy guitarist, but he's decided to go acoustic for us and break it down. He already did a 3-hour set, and he's coming back to do another 3-hour set. So if you missed him, you can see him on the 13th. Now, Sam Bybee, lead singer for 22 Kings. One of the most amazing, smooth singer-songwriter voices and feel and everything. We've got 1 minute left, so I'm getting to this.
In this segment.
Yes. We also have...
I hope everybody's taking notes.
We also have Justin Werner showing up on the 20th, and Ken Lenig. If you don't know Ken Lenig, you've got to get out there, and you've got to see him. He's, like, very professional. And
again, tell me what the name of the site is again. Tracy?
This is Sheldon's. It's called Sheldon's Service Station.
That's what service station.
It's at 8401 La Mesa Boulevard, and they have right now talent going around the clock. But just to sum it up, Vanya James, beautiful singer-songwriter, and the most important one, and I think the most important one because she tours the world, has decided to come out for me because she's a good friend of mine. Sherry Ann from Sister Speak is going to be there on the 27th from 4:30 to 7:30 of November. You guys, I'm telling you, man, we're talking the top talent in town. I'm trying to get Toll and Shaw to roll out. I'm trying to get Raylene Nicole. If you guys are out there, you're not on my radar yet. You haven't talked to me yet. You've got to hit me up because that's going to be so exciting.
That's happening. Hey, let's give a close up. This is our second segment. We just said thank you to Greg Douglas, who's performing tonight at the Coyote Grill in Carlsbad. And we talked a little bit about your original work. Next segment,
back in 2
covers and tributes.
minutes.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Girls are talking rock again.
And people are listening.
Today we're talking bands.
Let's talk promotion. Red Giant promo, graphics, EPKs, video, photos, social media, and brand building using content marketing.
But let's talk studio at CCMA, which is events, rehearsal, tour prep, piano, guitar, voice, rock band, lessons, workshops, and clinics. Yeah!
Both proud sponsors of Girls Talk Rock.
Well, get the lowdown on these services and contact me, Tracy, at girlstalkrock.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Welcome to Girls Talk Rock, where the musician's creativity finds its voice. And here are your hosts, Tracy Smith and Beth Venus.
I am Tracy Smith.
I'm Beth Venus.
And we are
Girls Talk Rock. Welcome to our third segment here on October 26th.
And I know I just gave you a lot of information in that last segment, but I just was trying to make you aware of the level of talent of original singer-songwriter acoustic artists that are rolling out there into your area, La Mesa. And we're doing it.
That's San Diego. And, you know, if you're a player and a musician and you want to get involved in that scene, there's no better way than to go down and check it out firsthand, check out the performers, go have a nice cup of coffee or a cup of Joe or some ice cream or whatever makes you happy. Check the scene out and then send Tracy over a message and say, I'd love to be part of that. Here's my information, and have a nice day with it.
And Sheldon Service Station is the name of the place. It's at 8401 La Mesa Boulevard. And I'm telling you that because every Saturday, every Sunday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., they're going to be having live music, like pretty much around the clock. And
we have some other great live music opportunities coming up here in San Diego. I mean, I don't just mean per night, just on a whole. That we also have the San Diego Music Thing.
If you haven't heard of the San Diego Music Thing, that Mr. Bart Mendoza is the one that puts that together and runs it along with others. But I'm just mentioning his name because he actually asked me if I would be a part of a panel of 6 guests that are going to be at the Chuck Alec Beer Garden on November 12th from 1:45 to like 3 p.m. And I have been asked to be the representative for EnterTalk, not EnterTalk so much, but
Internet Radio.
Internet Radio.
Yeah,
so Girls
cool.
Talk Rock, EnterTalk Radio, the whole nine.
It's a great time to get
and
a
I just want to say
stuff.
that I'm like honored to be even asked to be part of this panel because they're going to be bringing in people, and I can't mention any names yet, but from TV, from radio, from terrestrial radio. I'm the Internet Radio person. They're going to be bringing in people. All aspects. I think even a club owner and a disc jockey from a local radio station. So we're talking like big time.
And it should be fun. You can check this out at www.sanDiegoMusicThing.com. When you get to it, they'll give you a great front page with some big, wonderful lips. And it'll tell you some of the bands playing. But more exciting, let me share with you some of the venues here in San Diego County that are participating in a San Diego Music Thing. And that includes Bar Pink, The Office, U31, the Marrow. What a great stage they have. The Irenic, some of our famous favorite people over there at the Irenic, the Casbah, and Music Box. So other places like The Office. There's going to be some really great music, and they're all kind of contributing together to make this whole bigger event happen.
Right, and the San Diego Music Foundation is involved. Also, 91X is involved, and we just can't say enough about the way
Brewers, the BR Garden.
Yes, we can't say enough about how the community comes together for events like this. Why don't you tell us some of the bands that are going to be there, Beth?
Oh my gosh, Car Seat Headrest.
Right?
Night Jewel.
And then, of course,
King Dude.
Touche Amore. Come on.
Touche. Touche Amore.
Oh, Touche Amore. Okay.
Little Hurricane. There's some really, definitely worth checking out. Go to www.sanDiegoMusicThing.com. Another great place for original artists who are, up and coming, and you want to hear where the cool hip sounds are going. Check that out. When we left off in the other segment, we were talking about a lot of original music going on in here in San Diego. On the original front, whether you're a single, duo, or trio, the indie scene is indeed unique. And that kind of leads us also to talking about some of our cover and tribute artists. And there are some of the best cover and tribute artists really do come right out of San Diego, right here out of San Diego.
Right.
Everybody says LA, but I don't know. A lot of them are like making their home base here in San Diego.
Also, so Rodney Elliott with Silver Tiger Production also is doing the booking for Campland. And we wanted to talk about briefly
Well, he supports them because they pick their own people too.
That's right.
Kenny's making
some
that happen.
of the people that are coming in, Ronnie Lee is coming in with a killer rock show on November 11th. Jason Mann's band is coming in on the 18th. My husband's band, I got to give a shout out, Exit 6, blues, rock, awesome little band called Exit 6. They're coming on the 25th of November. Now, December, we've got Skylar Lutz. His band is rolling out. My favorite in town, I've got to say, Johnny Tarr. If you haven't witnessed Johnny Tarr yet, he's going to be on the 16th at Campland. You've got to get out for that.
What does Johnny Tarr do? Is he blues?
Oh, my
what is
God.
Johnny Tarr?
He is so amazing. So he's a keyboard player that sings, and he picks up his saxophone and rips on it. I mean, he does funk, jazz,
so
blues.
These are acts that there's like 2 or 3 people, or how's that going down?
Yeah, he's going to do it. He's going to do the full
Very
band.
nice.
And on the 23rd of December, one of my best friends, Ron Houston with the Six String Outlaws, they've given me a date. They're coming out on the 23rd. They are, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best country bands in town. No one puts on a better show. Lance Dykeman, shout out. Ron Houston, shout out. Kiki, love you.
Well, that's kind of exciting, and you guys are listening to a lot of the bands coming and going here in San Diego County. It's one of those things where, we were just at House of Blues on Sunday night where we had Kissed Alive, San Diego's very own Kiss tribute, Cheap Tricked, San Diego's very own Cheap Trick tribute.
Bad A
and
band.
Going old school, Groove Kitty doing Guilty Pleasures.
Totally. It was
Rock.
such a great show.
It was a really fun show, and especially for a Sunday night, we'd like to give props out to the sound and light people there because kapow, wow. I don't know if our listeners can hear Miss Bethy's voice this morning, but that's exactly what it sounded like on Sunday night. It wasn't pretty, but man, they made it work. So just kudos out to them and big thanks. We want to talk about what some of the bands, if you are in a working cover or tribute band, maybe you're on the bar circuit. Maybe you're doing lounges. Maybe you only do private parties. Or maybe you are, committed to venue stages and casinos and just working on that queue. But how do you get to where you want to be and play where you want to play? That's kind of like a different discussion for covers and tributes than it is for originals, don't you think, Tracy?
And that's what Beth Venus does because she's been, and Rodney Elliott, that's why Silver Tiger is so amazing because we have somebody from the tribute world, from the cover world, tribute world, and from the original world all together working on your behalf, getting you into those venues and queues that you want to be in.
And some from the alien world. Sometimes
that's
we're just
true.
from far away
We
worlds.
can send you to Mars if you'd like. We got a booking agent up there.
But if a lot of people talk to us and ask us, I just want to work the big stages and make big money, and that sounds really vague. Saying that.
Well, tell them what it takes, Beth.
But it's hard. Let me sound like one of our old presidents. It's hard. It's hard work. But it's really not so bad if you really know exactly what you want. I think the number one answer I give is you have to be willing to acquiesce on some of those. It's what you said earlier, Tracy. Don't work too much in places that you don't want to represent you. We've got our intern here, Connor Rice. He's our our intern. He's our marketing major. He has his associate's degree, and he's going to be working towards his 4-year. He's our college intern.
And it's time for Connor's Corner question because now I think it's a good time to break down a Connor Corner question.
Connor's Corner question
and it's sponsored by...
And it is sponsored by the studio at CCMA.
That's correct.
Yes,
and Silver Tiger and Ninja Picks and Red Giant Promo.
So we are all give a little love to. Our question of the day is, how do you think a cover or tribute band can market or brand themselves to be a cut above the other working artists that are playing all the bars? What's the difference? How do they brand themselves, Connor?
Well, the number one thing that I wish I saw more from bands is them deciding upon and tying them to a specific target audience. Far too often, I see a band come out as kind of that guy in the bar who just wants to, I'll date anyone. But that's not attractive at all. In fact, it's kind of slimy. What great bands do is they find a specific audience and they pair themselves to that audience and dedicate themselves to that audience. And that's what builds a relationship and a fan base and an authentic crowd of people who are loyal to what you represent because you've come to represent them, not just anyone who comes.
Awesome.
I like the
That's
girl
some really
metaphor.
good advice. Yes.
So deep, so young, so wise.
Right?
So
I
deep.
know. That's what we're saying.
Well, Connor, we like what we hear because I think that is a really great metaphor. Would you just date any slimy guy in the bar, or do you just want to focus on what you like?
Well, I mean, of course, you want him to look good, but you want him to have,
looks
morals,
good,
and you want him to
I
have
look
a sense of
good.
humor, and you want him to have everything that you want him to have. So you really have to tailor your own personal interests and likes to what band you want to go and see all the time.
I think Connor touched on one of the number one, when I'm having a crappy day, which is not often at all.
What do you turn to music instead of chocolate?
Right, exactly.
Right.
When I'm having a crappy day, it usually becomes is because I've had one too many artists when they've sent us some information or EPK or whatever, or we just chatted on the phone and I say, well, what kind of music are you? And they go, well, I can do anything. If you want me to play disco, I'll do a disco gig. If you want me to play rock, I'll play a rock gig.
Right.
If you want me to be an 80s band, I'll be an 80s band.
No, wrong answer.
And that's
wrong answer for Beth. Now that would be great for me if you're an original artist, but
I hate you. It's really discouraging for me
we
to
really
hear
always
that.
tell you to pigeonhole yourself because you really need to know who you are and what you are and focus on that so that your audience knows that that's what they're going to get when they go to see you.
Well, and also so I can pitch you as
that's right. We need to
whatever
submit
you are,
you.
not
That's
as everything to everyone.
That's right.
I can be everything, anything you want me to be. It's a rough answer. It's a tough answer for me to get.
it is.
So those are my grumpiest days. Yes.
Yes, but you get over it because then they say, okay,
I like people.
I'm an 80s rock tribute called Groove Kitty, and I want to get booked.
Yeah, whatever they are. Like the Kiss tributes is a great example. We only do Kiss, and we do it, or Kenny Metcalf, who does the tribute to Elton John.
Well, and
he does
tribute,
old school Elton John. He doesn't do the modern Elton John.
And as we know, a tribute is a
John.
little bit different than a cover band because if you're a cover band, you kind of have to pigeonhole yourself as well there because we don't want you to saying, well, I can do any song from any genre or any time in history. No. We want you to say we are 60s and 70s rock. We are, whatever, jazz. We are punk. We're
a 10-piece R&B band that wants
exactly.
And we're going to play a variety. We're a variety band, but we're R&B based. Or
right. Or we're going to go jazzy or whatever.
I don't know what to do with. There's so many talented people out there, way more talented than I'm used to being around. But it's pretty amazing stuff. Well, it's been a really interesting day today because we start off talking to Greg Douglas. I hope everybody goes to his website, which was www.gregdouglasguitar.com. And you can see the wonderful history he has there. And if you're really excited about writing with him or going to see him play, you can kind of see a living legend right here in San Diego, California, without driving too far. Tonight he is at the Coyote Grill, and I think they went on at 5:30, maybe 6. I think they're playing 6 to 8:30 tonight.
Yeah, 6. I think he said.
And if you're already over there, get your buns over there. Go have some fun. If you're listening late and you're listening to this in the archives, do yourself a favor, go to the website and check him out. He's got some great new music coming out, but he's also been a part of some, just great markers in history, in rock history that you just can be happy about that he could share that with us.
That's totally cool.
And sharing the stage with. And then, of course, in our second segment, we were talking about original artists, and there's so many new places to play and opportunities to be had. And I'd like to emphasize that if you send Tracy whether it's an email to Girls Talk Rock, or if you go to the Facebook site and just message us, it's one of those things where it's not just trying to find a place to play, but you're introducing yourself to a whole network of other original artists
and hopefully fans. And
I can't encourage you enough to get connected with other artists. And they say it over and over again. If you play just your 30 minutes and leave, then you're missing the journey of getting to know these other...
And you're missing the networking.
The networking that you're going to get just from playing. Today we are over at the studio CCMA, and we're putting in some new lights. It's very exciting. Not so exciting, really, but we were putting in some new lights, and I had Randy Strain from Randy Strain Electric there to take care of our electrical needs. And while he was there, it was a very small job. He was very kind to come all the way out just to do what I needed. But he got 4 other gigs while he was there because the owner of the building came by, and then one of the schools that used my site on Tuesday and Thursday came by, and then the neighbor next door that owns the gymnasium came by.
They all needed work.
They all needed work, and he scheduled it all that day. So, you know, that's a business. He's an electrician, but you're a musician, and it works.
That should also be a business. That's correct. So if you don't treat your band like a business and your business like a band, then you should really think about turning that around, because that's why you're probably not making any money. That's why you're not making the right connections. Even if you
I have a sad sound for that.
Well, even if you get hooked up with another band that is in the same type of genre as you are, okay, then you guys can get out there together and start getting a following for both bands. And then when you don't want to play with that band anymore, you just don't. But in the meantime, you've got somebody else that's doing something that's kind of close to what you're doing, and you really build that rapport with your fans, with the club owners, with everybody that you're working with. So networking is key.
I want to just highlight really quick before we head off. We're heading towards the end of the hour here. And, of course, Girls Talk Rock here on Intertalk Radio. We're all about regional, but also some national tours. But some of the regional things going on that we want you to be aware of are just like buzzing around the corner. Of course, we've got Halloween coming up. And those of you who are nervous about, what do I do for Halloween? Please, if you're not sure, drop us a line. We will probably forward you all kinds of places you can go.
Totally.
You can go to San Louis Ray. They're having a second annual Halloween party. The Culinary Fight Club is having their basic baking classic on October 27th, and that's coming up on tomorrow night. Oh my goodness. We have Santana Ways is going to be at Tio Leo's on Friday, October 28th.
And they are good.
The wonderful and, oh my gosh, ridiculously fun Toga Party is going to be in Temecula on Saturday at the Temecula Wine and Beer Garden Club. I think they put 7 p.m., not 7 a.m. on that. And of course, they've got Halloween parties coming and going. If you're not sure what to do, Help is going to be at the Harp this Saturday as well. The Dia de los Muertos Festival is happening at the La Colonia Community Center. And of course, your very own Groove Kitty is going to be at the last big stage show at Campland. The last day they were having their big stage show. So if you don't have a thing to do,
cool. Grab
the family, get dressed up. I'm going to be throwing candy. If I don't eat it all myself, I'm going to be throwing it all over the stage.
And I'm going to be there. And
Make
so
sure
is Rodney.
You join us.
So that's a good place to network with us.
Did we miss anything? Did I miss anything?
Well, yeah. I just want to end this show, because it's been so amazing, with November 11th and 12th is the San Diego Music Thing. And between 7 to 10 different clubs are totally involved, different bands at a different club during those 2-day period. It's called the San Diego Music Thing, and shout out to Bart Mendoza. So
thank you, Connor Rice, for our intern.
Yes.
Corner. We love having you.
And we want to thank, of course, Studio at CCMA,
Greg Douglas,
for being on our show today.
Intertalk Radio.
That's correct. And we also want to thank Silver Tiger Production, Red Giant Promo, and Ninja Picks.
Ninja Picks. Check out those pictures from House of Blues.
No doubt. It was a killer show. We will see you next week.
Have a great week.
Hey, it's Tracy Smith
and Beth Venus
of Girls Talk Rock, right here on the Intertalk Radio Network.
Every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, Beth, they know that, but we want you to know that the industry pro's choice is Silver Tiger Production.
SDP is a full-service production agency offering sound, lighting, installations, talent buying, staffing, backline equipment rental, and sales. Kapow!
It's everything in the entertainment performance industry. It's all that. SilverTigerProduction.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.